Hello guys and welcome. It's Simon here, aka qzka. This is the third game I am commentating, and we have a game in front of us. This is the loser bracket game between DamGod and Dominus. Uh, First time for sure, a skirmish between these two. Dominus, a veteran, known to the scene for a long time. DamGod, a fairly new player, one of my colleagues who I introduced to the game, so I'm very glad to see that he's doing pretty well in the tournament. I will try to be unbiased in my predictions or evaluations, and I'm looking forward to see where the game takes us. Okay, so what do we see? As usual, I already missed it. So DamGod rolled higher, and he decided to be the first player. Okay. The random function being Tyranids. Let's see what we will have next. Let's of course increase the speed. As usual. We see that DamGod added Necrons to the pool. Oh no, he added the Space Marines. Necrons were added by Dominus. Now it's again DamGod's turn. He added Orcs, and the final one will be Tau. Okay, let's see who bans first. I assume DamGod will be the first one to pick, but it is not clear who will be banning first. Let's see. He's taking his time into making the decision. Maybe let's fast forward a little bit. Okay, so Tau was banned by DamGod, and let's see what will be banned by Dominus. No, Dominus bans Tau. Okay, so Dominus was the first to ban. And DamGod bans Space Marines. Okay, I assume that DamGod picks first. He picks Orcs, understandably so. Very high win rate as the first player for Orcs. What will be picked up? Tyranids. Okay, Orcs against Tyranids. Am I mistaken? Is this the same? Is this the same matchup we had before between Pharaoh and Vi? I think so. It's the same. It's the same matchup. With the only difference that the Orcs right now are the first player. Let's maybe fast forward a little bit through from the system building. DamGod got a very nice system with a reinforcement token and cash token. Very useful. There will be at least one dominate here, unless this system will be uh, will be conquered by the Tyranids in the early phases of the game, but I would assume there would be a couple of dominates here. Very nice to gain reinforcements token and spend the cash token on buying a boy. Most of the time it's a boy because an orc boy, of course. That sounded strange. Uh, Most of the time it's a girl, a matter of fact. Okay, but enough of that. Most of the time the orc players go for purchasing an orc boy with this ability due to the fact that it costs exactly the cash token which you just acquire. So this is very neat. And at the same time, orc boys are more useful than nobs in the early game, and in the mid game, most of the time the orc player already has party wagons and the card that activates them. So it is often seen that the nobs are just being neglected as they throw the same amount of die as an orc boy. They just have twice as much HP and twice as much morale, which orcs nevertheless generate via tons of reinforcement tokens that they acquire during the game or by cards. Okay, so we see a bastion being placed on the orc's objective. I assume uh, Dominus wants to keep this objective as long as possible. A little bit of shuffling still. This is interesting because the choices between a system with 3 material in total or 2 material in total. The problem is if you split fire as Dominus did as on the beginning, he of course gains more material provided he keeps both planets. But also when he loses one of the planets, and most probably it would be the planet with the objective, he also gives or hands over to the opponent 2 additional material, which is a very big swing in terms of the balance of the whole game, because it's 2 material gained and of course the primary, which is the objective that is being gained. So we see that Dominus had changed his mind and he focused his units or his firepower on one world, the world with the cash, with the materia. So it's still a little bit problematic because still if the orcs gain control over this world, they also gain control over the materia. Or is it? Okay, it's just some bug. Okay, no pun intended. So we do see, in fact, Dominus putting the bastion and the unit on the planet with 2 material. It has its benefits because he leaves the other planet empty, which doesn't provide any material, and it provides only one forge, which for the orcs is not that important. I am not saying it's useless or it doesn't play any role. It definitely plays a significant role, but not as much as the role of cash tokens and reinforcement tokens. Okay, we see the orc home system being placed on the other side of the map. My opinion, good move, because it spreads out the objectives as much as possible. They are as far in between each other as possible. So even if one of the objectives is captured in the early game, the other one still remains relatively secure. Let's see if the yes, it is. I were not even able to state the question, or is it? Okay. Oh, okay. So Tyranids are going for late game. Interesting and exciting. It makes for a better. It makes for better entertainment for us viewers. The home system close to opponent's home system brings many benefits, but in case of Tyranids, they might just be a little bit too overwhelmed with the pressure coming from the Orcish units, which are very resilient and provide tons of dice. Together with that, their initial cards have lots of icons, so they are very good at killing things. And Tyranids, they struggle only with one thing, and that is survival, because flexibility and morale raise and shenanigan abilities is their speciality. The only thing that Tyranids struggle with is surviving the combat. It is often that there is just not any, there isn't a bug left to carry on the victory, even though on paper everything looks for advantages for them. Okay, so the home system goes too close to the Tyranid objective. It might be relatively easy to capture this objective. However, in the Telagos game, we saw exactly the same, and we saw that the orcs went through into the into the homeworld of Tyranids, and they stayed there for the rest of the game and even captured the final objective with these two units. So since we saw it all before, we know what to expect. The problem right now is that if the warp storm will not be placed between the two orcs and the home system of Tyranids, the problem is that with orc rocks, orcs can take this planet and be pretty problematic for the orcs. So technically speaking, and taking into account that the second player can cover the opponent, top up his order only in one important place, of course, because he can top up much more orders than one. But if we are talking about key areas, key systems of the order stack, you can count on covering only one of them. So you either cover on the objective system to secure that there will be no additional orcs there by means of the orc ability, or you top up in your own system and build reinforcements. However, the problem there is that most probably you would need to build a bastion together with some units in that planet to survive the attack of two orc boys. Of course, it is possible that you survive it without the bastion, but it would be tricky, and this is just too big of a risk to take. That's why we see that Dominus did not do that. And what we see is that the warp storm did, and in fact, and between that system with the Tyranids or objective and the Tyranid home system. Okay, so let's see what the distribution of orders will be. What we also see is that Dominus is not taking any chances. He's shuffling his orders inside his invisible box that way, or is he? I'm trying to figure out if this is what he's doing, because he definitely is not just clearing them, because he would use the reset token to do that. I think he's just shuffling the orders in the invisibility box, because what the opponent does see is from which part of the box the opponent takes the order when he hovers over the box. So it is distinguishable, and it is possible to see which of the order the opponent took, as long as you know where the orders are, like location wise, and you do know because you have exactly the same box on your place. Okay, in this game this will be similar as the game between Pharaoh and or not, which game was the first one that we commentated on? That was game between Pharaoh and V, I think. And there we were watching the game from the perspective of the Space Marines. So I was able to see the cards drawn in combat, and I also was able to see which orders are being placed on the map. Which is a little bit problematic because it makes my assumptions wrong often, because I do know the one side of the story, I do not know the other side of the story. So bear with me. I will try to keep that in mind, that factor, but you never know. Okay, so typically, typical for Tyranids, we see a dominate order in their home system, followed by a deploy order with this tons of asset tokens acquired from the dominate. They have now lots of money to build units with, and also a city. By the way, my first digression about the bastion being placed on that world is problematic, because then you have no space for the city, which you need for development, and definitely development from the Tyranids is in store here. The mesetic spores, or breeding chambers, should I say, order upgrade first, and then followed by the mesetic spores, is the go-to. What we do see is that Dominus picked also, but what we see is Dominus picked the card that gives him the reinforcement token at the beginning of the combat, provided there is a ship in the active system. And he picked the Termagant Brutes, but in favor of the defensive card, which is interesting because, safe from that, Tyranids don't have that much defensive options in their uh, in their uh, in their deck. We see the first combat, we see that Dominus is not wasting any time. He's attacking the orcs with only one gaunt, but with two reinforcement tokens, one from the order upgrade and the other from his supply. First card he plays will be, sorry, I already missed that. Okay, he will try to put an additional unit there by means of Rain of Spores, which should secure him the win. However, there are two orders underneath it, so most probably there will be a dominate from the orcs, which will bring there an additional orc boy, and a counter attack with 4 dice. So even if the Gaunt and the the warrior will survive there will be 4 against 4 dice in that combat, and it's pretty much a 50-50. Very fortunate for the Tyranids, we see defense tokens being thrown, which will secure for now any damage suffered. So already icon-wise and morale-wise, it is looking very, very promising for the Tyranids. Let's see how it will follow, because what the orcs might play right now is Shoota Boys, which will reroll all of the shield tokens, shield dice by the Tyranids. So let's see if that will be the case. We see that DamGod is taking his time and thinking about what to play. Let's see. Maybe we can fast forward a little bit. Okay, we see the card being chosen. It is Termagant Brutes for the Tyranids. Question is if he's taking the bolters. Yes, he is in favor of the reinforcement token, and let's see what will be the answer from DamGod. Unfortunately, most probably he doesn't have the Shoota Boys, because he's going for Mech Boys, which just gives him a slight amount of survivability, and now the combat is definitely lost. It's just a question of whether the boy will survive this skirmish. It looks grim because there are tons of bolters on the Tyrannid side. We see a bolter being rerolled to a bolter, but the orc boy survives. I guess that's at least something. But both of the Tyrannid units are still standing strong, and let's see if there will in fact be a dominate preceding the counterattack from the orc side, because if there is, then two boys against a warrior and a gaunt is very winnable. Let's see if that's what will happen. There is a build. Okay, so let's see what will be built by the orcs right now. It is a bastion. Okay, interestingly so. Maybe he's thinking about making an outpost here. So even though he already lost or I should say Tyranids already took the objective, even though he already took the objective, he might still be, there is still a force to be reckoned with close to the home system of Tyrannid, so he definitely will be annoying towards the next rounds. Let's see how the game will develop. First and foremost, where will the warp storms go? How do we guess here? Very useful card for now for orcs. Just the question is, what will he move and where? The cash is already gained by both players, so one of the units from his home system might be teleported, just so that the big orcish force in the bottom left world remains there, and it remains dreadful. But very well played. I should start with very well played by Dominus. The order secured nice and clean. He did draw the Reign of Spores card, which generated him a warrior. So all in all, he executed it perfectly, as much as perfect as it can go. The world with the one material looks tasty, but in terms of position, the world with the forge token is much better. So The question is what DamGod will do right now. Will he try to secure the objective first and foremost, and then try to go for planetary dominance? Because that's exactly what he can do. There he has quite some chance to take the objective this round if he plays his orders right, and then focus on taking as many planets as possible, secure them, and hope for winning by the planetary tie. Especially taking into account that the Tyranids right now are the first player, so they will be. So the orcs have the tactical advantage here in terms of placing the orders. Let's see. So a very important round this that we have in front of us. Let's see what Dominus will look. From what I see, he should be able to try to deny this order from the orcs, and this is exactly what he's thinking about, because he already placed his advance order on the very bottom of that stack. So problem is that in such case the second player has the ability to cover his opponent in one of the neighboring system, so that the attack that he wants to perform will happen before he has the chance to move his units to tactical position. And that's a very common way to denying the plan that is being employed. However, the problem here is that the orcs cannot really do that to the full extent, because they need to right now put at least one order on that middle left system. Otherwise, they will just not go for the objective. And then just by placing this order already, Dominus did what he intended to, and now he can focus on development. And also the problematic thing is that the Tyranids can go from either side, so they can either put he can either put his other advanced or token in the bottom left or the middle right, and from there make an expansion. So the orcs don't really know what to expect, and they are in a bit of a pickle right now. We see most probably a deploy by orcs in the home system, and a certain deploy by the Tyranids in the home system, which is very secured because both the players have nothing to fear in that home system. So the question is, will the orcs be able to take this bastion by means of morale, and then secure it and defend it against the swarm? Because what we already see is that Dominus is ploying against the orcs, and he already denies the deploy before movement. Thankfully for the orcs, they can still send their 2 units by means of orc rocks, but 2 units is not 3 units, and if he's counting on 1 unit being routed or destroyed, then he would like to take a third unit with him, because otherwise it's pretty risky, because he just might get the objective but have a unit routed there. What he could do is put 2 orders there. So an order right now, as he just did, which would be a dominate, and an attack on top. So no matter what will happen, most probably only one of the units will get routed / destroyed. So the dominate will generate another unit there, and also it will provide a reinforcement token. So let's see what will happen. Tyranids, on the other hand, they need to put right now an advance order, so that the orcs know for a fact that they can securely have 2 two orders on the top of that system. Because they knew that the Tyranids will first need to move from their home system to do anything this round. He could, of course, now put an order in the bottom left, because by the means of that, most probably, I don't see clearly the schemes that we have. I think that the scheme for the Tyranids is before revealing an order and not instead of revealing an order. No, this is instead of revealing an order. Okay, so it will be tough for the orcs to just deny movement by order placement, because they will need to reveal their orders first. So rough. And just a question, maybe then deploy back on top of the home system would be a good play here, or maybe an advance in the bottom left system, just to get rid of the Tyranids that are already there. However, orcs are on a disadvantage right now because they don't have a reinforcement token, which the Tyranids have. However, it still is very likely that he would just wipe out the Tyranids out of the system, especially if he manages to buy Wa first. So that's why we see DamGod taking his time and picking the last order. And let's see what will it be. We will not see what will it be, but we will see where it will be placed. Maybe just fast forward a little bit so we can save some time. Still thinking. If I was him, I think I would place an advance order on the bottom left. That way, of course, the Tyranids can push back because they have an attack there, so they can first regain control of the Lost World and then attack on the Orc objective world. However, it is definitely not a given then. Okay, we see some internal dialogue being played by both the players. Okay, so we see that DamGod topped with his deploy order, most probably a deploy order in his home system. Okay, let's see how the round goes. Already from the order placement, very well played by Dominus, which was to be expected. Because we know that Dominus is a very experienced player and he knows what he is doing. So he might not have control over all of the aspects of the game, like dice roll and card draw, but he definitely is utilizing his skills to the max. Okay, we see a dominate in the home system of orcs, which is a little bit strange, provided that he didn't have the dominate the deploy order. He might not just have it available because he wasted it already before. In that case, that would be understandable. But if he had a deploy available, placing it there would be very beneficial, because he would be able to place a ship there, and he would be able to move much more units, because right now he can move only 2 units through the uncontrolled void. We see a deploy from Dominus, 2 warriors and a devourer being placed. So definitely a force to be reckoned with. Sorry for fast forwarding, but we do want to save a little bit of time by that. Doesn't really matter where he places the units, it matters of what he wants to place. Okay, so I think I think DamGod is thinking about taking away this order. Let's see if he's counting, because there is a slight chance, of course, there is a slight chance of him securing this if he doesn't get any units routed, and taking into account that the Tyranids will attack with 3 units only. This might be doable, but no, he doesn't take the risk. He stays where he is, and he will just allow the Tyranids to reinforce in that bastion system, in that bastion world. Just a question of, in the meantime, whether he will try to get rid of the orcs in the bottom left system. He's definitely thinking about it. Yes, he is. Okay. Seems he's feeling pretty confident. No, he's not. He's not taking any risks, any chances. Okay, 2 units did not go. All right. A pretty symmetric role that we see. Of course, the Tyranids would like to have more defense. This is definitive. We do see how big of an impact the morale is for in this combat. There is no way of any morale victory for the orcs here. What he needs to think of is just loads of Daka and counting on destroying as much units as possible. The problem is that Termagant brutes, they provide temporary shields the more unit they get routed. So this is a snowball effect that we are dealing here with, and I think it will be rough for the orcs to shoot the bugs down. But with Shoota Boys, this is definitely doable. Okay, he's going for Sea of Green, which provides 1 additional reinforcement token, but he yet doesn't have the Wa card, which utilizes the amount of boys in the combat. So the combo is not complete here. Question if he again didn't draw Shoota Boys, or he was just counting on just well, I don't know what then, because the orcs cannot retreat anywhere. They will die if they lose the morale fight. Okay, but we do see Shoota Boys being played. Okay, let's see what the reroll will be for the orcs. Perfect. What the reroll for perfect. Two morals would be perfect, but that's a little bit wishful thinking. So already 2 shields down. That's already a very good result for the Tyranids. The attacker needs to assign the damage first, and now the defender needs to assign damage. And he has 2 options, and he's going for the, in my opinion, better choice of killing the bastion and the unit. So what we would like to see right now is maybe another Shoota Boys card, because maybe another shield will be rerolled by the Tyranids. We see mitigation of attack, and we see not unlucky. Oh, very unlucky. Oh, I think that was a bit of a misplay, because he did have the chance to kill / route a little bit more units, but unfortunately that's not the case. And we do see that the Tyranids are reinforcing in the middle left system. Is it via the ship alone or units also? Doesn't really matter that much because the Tyranids have the means to buy the breeding chambers card, and taking into account that they are the second player next round, they can just buy units there from the hive ship. Okay, now we see Wa being bought. A little bit unfortunate, but also it was just well played by Dominus because he covered a potential strategize for the orcs, so he definitely knew what he is doing. Then we see a deploy. We see one ship being built. Maybe we will see also a second one. Yes, we do. And so definitely the orcs are looking for some aerial superiority. Well, maybe superiority is too much said, but at least to confront the Tyranids on the aerial areas. Because of course you can assume that you are just too weak in case or in terms of void combat, both due to the units that you have and the cards that you have. But even if you are on a disadvantage, you still can mess around with the opponent just by showing that you are not giving up and you want to have the units, and just to provide yourself options. So what we will most probably see from the Tyranids is that Dominus will try to build ships in his home system, or even if not that, he will use the ship that is already in his home system, but he will try to secure both of the voids in the system with the orcish objective, and that's because if he does that, then the orcs would need to spend 2 attacks to get to this system. First, to secure a legal path by conquering one of the voids, and the second one to go into the bastion world and just claim it. So we do see an attack order being placed on the bottom. So it is highly probable that another advance order will go into that same system, and just first will win the aerial combat and then go for the objective. However, the Tyranids right now, they have tons of options because first of all, they can try to top the Orcish order in their home system, and then there will be only these 2 ships to play with. I'm saying only as if there is a chance of building a humongous fleet. No, but this even one additional ship for the orcs here would be very helpful, because if he focuses his all strength in one place, he is also a force to be reckoned with because he has a lot of reinforcement tokens. So it's all a matter of what Dominus will do, whether he will first build ships and then go to the middle left system, and even if he does so, it's a question of whether he will build another hive ship or not, because for now it won't be that easy, because that would most probably would need to be by the means of double forge token being used, which he has none at the moment. So both by building another city and then gaining a reinforcement token, or gaining 2 reinforcement forge token, or gaining 2 forge tokens to build another hive ship, is pretty problematic, and also the other hive ship it costs 5 material, so he will have not much less for other ships. So he is able to put one hive ship and one devourer on both of these voids, making it very difficult for the orcs to conquer. Uh, and but his alternative is to place one hive ship and one devourer on one void, and on the other void something like 3 devourers maybe, and then together with some reinforcements it will also be not so easy for the orcs to conquer. However, as I said, 3 onslaughts together with 3 reinforcements and the Wakart bot. This is very scary, and even if the hive ship will not die because it has 6 HP, it is possible that the orcs will inflict enough damage to rout/kill every other ship and just win by morale. On the land, it's a morale race between against the Tyranids is never a good option, never a good idea. However, in the warp space, it's a little bit different, but still, the cards that Tyranids have, they can provide reinforcements, which that also means that it works on the void combats. Okay, so we do see most probably a deploy in the home system of both of the players. If orcs also put another order in the home system, he will be putting himself in a position as he been in last round, because he would allow Dominus to top him there. What instead he's doing, he's covering the other order of the Tyranids. So what he's doing is, even though he's the first player this round, he's trying to gain as much control as possible order placement wise. So even though he's the second player right now, he already has 3 orders on top and only 1 order on top for the Tyranids. Tyranids quickly counter because they don't want to be in the position where they are forced to reveal the only order they have. Because then orcs have full control over the order execution. So right now, DamGod is also in a bit of a pickle because he has decisions to make. He puts another order on top of the bottom left order. Very ballsy, but also it secures that the Tyranids need to make the decision, and the decision is to put an advance order in the middle left system. So what happens now? So definitely orcs will need to reveal the order on the bottom left order on the bottom left system for the Tyranids. So the Tyranids will be able to move before they will reinforce in their home in the middle left system. We see dominate for the orcs in the home system. I'm curious why this is not a deploy, because as I said, the third ship would be very helpful here, because then it would imply some uncertainty for Dominus, because he would knew then that there is a big fleet for the orcs to be dealt with. Okay, so we see for a fact that there will be only 2 ships in the middle left system. So even though there is only 1 attack on the very bottom for the orcs most probably will secure one of these voids, which is promising because next round they could take the objective. Then they are of course in danger of fight back from Tyranids, but as we see where the warp storms are, it might be an option for the Tyranids, for the orcs to just secure that objective, because it will be difficult for the Tyranids to maneuver correctly. In the meantime, we see a big attack from the Tyranids on the neighboring world. The Tyranids are pushing forward. They are trying to get closer and closer to their objective. They are putting lots of pressure on the orcs. Definitely a very stressful moment for orcs. DamGod needs to be aware that this combat is already lost. He can, of course, inflict tons of damage here, which would be very nice, because the units will be destroyed slash routed. And we also see that the Tyranids did not secure both of the voids, because the second ship had to stay in place in order to provide a legal path. So yes, in fact, we do see damage, but not enough. It just was enough to inflict the damage on the reinforcement tokens. But what the orcs can do right now is they can put both of the ships in the void, securing that void, and attacking back the world that they just lost. If they are able to win this combat, this would be yeah, big, not big. The problem is that all of these warriors, they will be able to retreat because there are 2 planets with 3 unit capacity on them, which the Tyranids can retreat to. So if the orcs here think about winning, they need to kill as much bugs as possible. The orcs rolled tons of shields, which is never good for them, but on the other hand, the Tyranids also didn't roll that many shields. So this is pretty promising. A Shoota Boys opening could be nice, but also a direct Wa could be very nice, because there is enough boys to get through the defenses of Tyranids, even though the orcs did roll only 1 bolter. But instead we see a sea of green, so we see one of the units from Tyranids being routed. Interestingly, so Dominus did not spend his morale here. Curious. He did, however, provide himself with a little bit more of survivability by the means of re-rolling all of his bolters. So how it will look like next? Is it Shoota Boys that is following? No, it's Wa. So we do see 7 bolters, but will it be enough to inflict any damage on the Tyranids? I mean, any damage, of course, but whether it will be significant damage, let's see. So Dominus is going for destroying one of his units to gain 2 shields, and he gained additional 2 shields, which are not temporary. So very good roll for him, very good result. And in the end, sorry, I missed it. How much was it? Yes, that was exactly countering the damage from the orc side. However, the orcs have an additional Wa, and this should seal the deal for them. So very well played. We see that for the Tyranids, there was just they didn't draw the card they wanted to see, most probably. So one unit will be dying due to the damage, and three of them will retreat. So the killing of one of the units is not that significant here, because nevertheless, in case of losing by the Tyranids, they can retreat maximum of three worlds of three units. Yes, and he can retreat to one of these worlds. Yes, of course. He doesn't need to retreat to the nearest. Proximity has nothing to do here in that matter. However, he needs to retreat to one area. He cannot split. Okay, so that's it. Let's see. What is also interesting, the orcs did not bring their second ship to that void, which would secure it a little bit more in case of an attempt to break the legal path for the orcs. However, it also means that one of the ships is standing in the home system of orcs, which is very useful. You don't want a hive ship being there and messing around with your business. However, we do see a free devourer being placed by the Tyranids. So definitely, yes, it will go to support the hive ship, and that hive ship together with that devourer is a different story. Of course, it only adds one die to the die pool. However, it brings an ability to place an additional reinforcement there. And in such a combat for the Tyranids, it's all about reinforcements, because they have access to loads of them, and at the same time they have the ability that what I'm trying to say, most of the time the Tyranids will not run out of reinforcement tokens, so making it possible to place two in one area instead of one is it's a pretty big deal. Okay, we do see two cities from the orcs being played, so definitely he's thinking about buying the. I never remember the card name, but it's not the Crushing Claws. It's the other CL2 card that gives tokens the more units you have than the opponent. Funny enough, in that situation, it is not always given that the Tyranids will have more units than the orcs, because the orcs also have an easy access to loads of reinforcements. So it's not always the case. So if he really wants to buy this card or another, we will see. He might also be thinking primarily of the Mycetic spores, and not about the combat cards. We also did not mention at all the Warp Storm movement, but as I predicted at the beginning of the previous round, the direct path for the Tyranids was blocked right now. He still can fight back in that system, but that means that he needs to build units in his home system and then use double advanced order to secure it. Let's see if the orcs right now will manage to if they will manage to place the orders clever enough so that the Tyranids will not be able to put their plans into fruition, because it is definitely doable. It just is a factor of how the orders will be placed. Okay, so we see the first order from the tyranny is being placed on the objective world, which is very understandable because other orders that he wants to play, and he played already 2 in his home system, are unconquested. These cannot be touched by the orcs. They don't have units in the neighboring systems, so they cannot place orders there. So Dominus is free to do whatever he wants. Most probably we will now see an advance order in the middle right system, so that he can reinforce before he goes and fight back in his the fight back the orcish objective. But orcs have still 2 orders to place, and let's see what will that be. Because what the orcs can do is they can top up both on the objective world and on the neighboring world. Okay, but what we see in the middle, I've missed it. And Tyranids are not even thinking about going into the middle right system. He is thinking about buying Mycetic Spores and doing a double attack on the orcish home system and securing the objective for himself. That was, of course, means 2 attacks that are needed to do that, because first order needs to first deal with the ship, with the onslaught ship that is in there. However, let's see what DamGod will do. What he can do. It's interesting because he doesn't have too much money right now. He can go and attack the Tyrannid fleet in hopes of routing the hive ship, because that's something he definitely can do. However, he will be able to place only 2 additional reinforcement tokens to the 2 units that he already has. So let's see. For the Tyranids, it's a very elastic situation because they can use an orbital strike on the Bastion world with the Orcish objective, shoot out as much as possible, and rest of the units, rest of the guns will be used to buy units. So this is a pretty elastic situation for them. We see that in fact the card I was mentioning was bought, so he will be counting on a big advantage number wise, and on the same time he's also buying the Mycetic Spores, so he is well prepared for whatever the orcs will try to throw at him. Okay, so first we see an attack. What will it be? Okay, so it's an attack on the objective. Question is if he shouldn't just place if he shouldn't just leave one unit there, just to make it more problematic for the Tyranids to do whatever. I do understand why he did it. He wants to secure this objective no matter what, and also even with the Mycetic Spores, it will not be that easy for the Tyranids to fight back, because he has only 6 material, so he will be able to buy 2 warriors there, which of course throw in total 6 dice, but they have only 4 HP, in total, so it won't be easy to win such a combat. But let's focus on the first combat that we have in front of us. The roll was pretty nice for the orcs. Of course, the less morale dice that we see, the better. It would be even better to see some morale dice thrown by the or rolled by the Tyranids. Well, you cannot always have everything. Can't always get what you want. And let's see. Will the Tyranids be transferring? Yes, they will be transforming one of their devourers into a warrior. The Tyranids need to route one unit by the means of Sea of Green. But here comes the warrior, and let's see if DamGod manages to win this combat. It will be a very big hit for the Tyranids, because they will lose both or not lose really, because the unit will still be able to retreat, and it will be able to retreat to a world that was not theirs before, so it might be even beneficial for the Tyranids. So definitely for the orcs, they are looking right now at they should be looking at killing the bugs entirely, because otherwise he's risking a big army being formed in a place where they weren't before. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! The worst that could have happened. Two shields being rolled into 2 morale. It doesn't get any more unlucky. However, for the Tyranids, it also wasn't perfect, because there was only 1 shield remaining after the 3 shields that were rerolled. So here we see 2 damage being taken by the orcs, but 3 damage being taken by the Tyranids. 1 went into the reinforcement, and the other 2 into the bastion. But first, the attacker needs to assign. Yes, of course, he's assigning the damage to the Nob, who doesn't exactly, that's his job, is to suck up as much damage as possible. And let's see how the final skirmishes will go. Most probably this will be a Wa, yes, which will rally the Orc Nob and provide 4 additional bolters. For the Tyranids, we have the reroll card. So the morale dice will most probably be rerolled right here. And this is just a question of, should he destroy one of his units to take 2 shields. So if he does that, then he will take 4 damage, and 4 damage means he needs to put 2 into the warrior and 2 into the bastion. So he will be left with 5 morale, provided that he will reroll the shields, the morale into something less, into something different. And for the orcs, they are taking at the moment 3 damage, which will go into the orc Nob, so only 2 more morale will be lost. So this is a pickle, because the Tyranids need to decide first. They need to decide first if they are destroying 1 unit to gain the shields before they reroll. Of course, you would like to reroll first, but this is not an option right now. He just simply cannot do it. So he is taking the temporary shields, and now we are waiting for the reroll. Pretty good reroll. He was looking for as many shields as possible. He didn't get much, but he got some. He still needs to destroy something, and he decides to destroy the bastion, which is very smart, because he knows that he doesn't want to leave the bastion there. And for the orcs, they need to destroy 2 units because the capacity is just was exceeded on that world. So now we see the Mesetic spores being used. We see 3 dice. Let's see how much units he will be able to buy. So there are 2 warriors coming in. Okay, so this is a significant fight back. There will be only 4 dice against 6, so already disadvantages for the orcs. Let's see if the Tyranids will be able to survive this. As long as they are able to survive, most probably they will win. The Tyranids rolled loads of damage, which is not ideal, but then again it means there is a lot of damage going into the orcish side. Let's see what the orcs will answer with. But first we need one. Oh, and it's a bolter being took by Dominus. Ballsy bolter. Okay, first thing, will the Tyranids rout, or will they spend morale die? They don't need to because they don't have more units. Okay, so it's just a matter of assigning damage. Of course, orcs are better here at soaking up damage because the knob has a whopping 4 HP. So 1 reinforcement went down, and the remaining 2 damage went into the 3 damage went into the knob. Will it be followed by a Wakart? Could be. There will not be too much defense then, but he might shoot the bugs down by the means of that. However, it is only 2 additional bolters and no shields being generated. But it is a Wa. Okay. So we do see that the orcs die here, but the Tyranids survive. Unfortunately for the orcs, that was 2 damage taken into the warrior and 1 remaining into the other warrior. But it was precisely the amount of damage that the orcs had to take to just die. Rough. It looks very rough for the orcs. Let's see what will happen next. We see another combat being played between the hive ship and the onslaught from orcs. So pretty interesting combat in front of us. Let's see if the orcs stand any chance. I doubt it, but you never know. Synaptic control being played, an MVP in the Tyrannid deck right now. A card similar but lesser from the orcish side. Termagant Brutes should seal the deal. There will be some damage, however. Nope, there will not be any damage. So the Tyrannids here could inflict some damage, but he picks not to. He knows that worst case scenario or best case scenario, he will kill only one only one unit because it's in total 6 HP for both of the units. He needs to retreat to the friendly system. That's right, to the friendly area. And now we see a deploy from the orcs. We can fast forward through it because it doesn't matter that much. Yes, this is something we had expected, that there will be a bastion build just to keep the place secure. And a dominate to gain a reinforcement token, but no units. He had the scheme during the build. Let's see if Dominus will allow to use it. Yes, he did allow him to use it. So good guy, Dominus. Okay, we're going to round 5, and let's see what is in store for us. It looks pretty grim for the orcs at the moment. I don't see much chance for them to fight back, especially now when their 2 ships were taken aback. So not only the orcs did not manage to take the objective, they are also pushed far from their objectives, and also the Tyranids are at their door. So at the moment, Dominus has a direct chance of taking the objective. However, it would be tricky to hold, because even if he covers with his last order being the advance in the home system of orcs, he might send 2 warriors to that world and win that combat. Yes, of course he can do that, but then there would be a orcish army being built in the home system, and an attack would be at the very bottom. So that's definitely something that Dominus right now is taking into account that can happen, and he might be thinking about something different, maybe a deploy on the empty planet that is right now in the orcish system, together with a bastion, so that he's secured from a counter attack from orcs, and also he can build a nice position for him to attack, because from that position he could attack both the factory world and the bastion world, and the orcs will have quite a tricky time defending both of these areas. So slowly but steadily, even if he doesn't take the objective, he could put himself in a position where it will be more or less secured for him. Okay, we see a movement most probably from the orcs, so that there is just more orcs to fight with. We see the second order being placed in the home system of the Tyranids, interestingly so, because there can be a dominate following a deploy, and just a movement to the satellite systems just to bring himself forward to establish a good trench line for future expansion. So we see that the orcs are right now thinking about the third order. Okay, so we do see him covering in the middle right. So as they say, the best defense is an attack. So in order to make the plans of Tyranids futile, what he can do is just push back the Tyranids. he might just succeed in that. He might just push the Tyranids far enough so that he would buy some time. But then again, this time would need to be utilized. So if he's buying time by pushing forward the front line, he needs to also at the same time use this place and space to simply build cities and develop on his own side. Or he could think about not building cities at all, just building a bunch of boys to push forward, because he might think that he's already out of time for development head to head with the Tyranids. So we do see reinforcing by the means of dominate in the upper right system. We see an attack, which was a provisional attack to fight back the objective that the Tyranids might have taken. But the Tyranids never went there because they knew that this is exactly what what the orcs can do. So he just didn't want to waste any orders. He instead put the order somewhere else. We see a second hive ship being built right now. Most probably together with that will come some devourers just to strengthen this fleet. We see two of them being built, and on top of that, a warrior. Okay. So this fleet most probably or most definitely will go to the middle right system just to secure a nice front line, just to push the front line a little bit more forward and secure the other objective in a non-risky way, because even if he doesn't get the objective, because it is not a given by any means, he at least will have the planetary advantage, and it will be difficult for the orcs to do something different than back and forward. So a back and forward would be already a win condition for the Tyranids, because in total they will secure more planets, more worlds. So not only the fleet had moved, also an infantry army was established on the middle right system. The middle left system, however, did not see any action this round, which might be problematic, because if the warp storm moves horizontally to the bottom, it will again prevent the Tyranids from fighting back on this objective. And taking into account that at the moment the orcs have no objectives, they are sitting pretty convenient in their front line. But as soon as the orcs are taking the second objective, it becomes a completely different story, because it's much easier for them to equalize the whole game. Okay, we see an attack on the lone devourer. This shouldn't be too much of a challenge for the orcs to win this combat. However, we do need to take into account that the Tyranids are much better developed in all of the aspects. So the sole fact that the orcs right now have a reinforcement advantage is not a win condition by no means. So let's see. Sea of Green was to be expected. Two units were routed during the first execution round. That's why we see two temporary shields being gained by the Tyranids. So it will be difficult for the orc to inflict any damage here, because even a Wa card at the end will be an additional 4 damage, which will just kill all of the reinforcements. So even if the combat is lost, the ship will survive, which is always a problem, because the stronger the Tyrannid fleet is, the more control of the game they have. Yeah, so we might see 3 damage being taken, but this is uh, uh, only reinforcement being killed. So now we have a very strong fleet on the Tyrannid side, and we also see a fight back with a free reinforcement being gained. This might prove advantages to the orcs, because they can right now tactically move the ships to whatever one of the 3 neighboring systems. So this might turn interesting. Synaptic Control, as I already said, MVP of this game for the Tyranids, and MVP for many games for Tyranids in general. Sea of Green also being the MVP for orcs, but significantly weaker counterpart to the Synaptic Control. We see another one. So with that card set, it's like the Tyranids have everything within their grip, like full control of everything. But wait, why did the Tyranids not re-roll the cards? Is it only for boys? Yes, I think so. I think onslaughts do not activate the bottom part. Okay. So last card most probably will be Shoota Boys, but it will be the same situation. So the reinforcement tokens will suffer, but it will be not enough to inflict any damage on the plastic units of the Tyranids, and definitely there will be enough morale left to win this combat. Not even a Wa. We just see Slugger Boys, and that's it. He needs to retreat, and that's exactly what I was talking about. He can retreat to any of the surrounding neighboring systems. So in total, there are 6 areas that he can retreat to. Quite a decision to be made here, but he goes for the secure option of reinforcing his infantry units. Round 6. Let's fast forward a little bit. Looting and stealing. The most important thing for this round is where the warp storms will go. Okay, so very lucky for the orcs. The Tyranids had no other chance other than placing the warp storm on the bottom of the middle right of the middle left system. So now it will be pretty easy for them to take the objective. With that objective, of course, it tips the balance of the game a little bit in their direction, but I think still the initiative will be on the Tyrannid side. They have just at the moment too much development. They have too much material gain per round. They have the planetary advantage. I think it's just prolonging the inevitable, which would be a game for the Tyranids. But let's see, let's see. This is Forbidden Stars for you, so anything can happen here. Bit cliche, I know, but that's exactly why we love this game for. So I think we can even fast forward throughout this whole round, because in this round most probably the Tyranids will not even waste their time in trying to take back the objective world for the orcs. They will just let them have it and make sure that the other planets are well secured and that the front line moves forward. Most probably we will see an attempt on the top right system, whether it will be the attack on the planetary units or the attack on the fleet. We will see. The fleet will be much more secure because he can just leave the ships where they are, so that the void is not uncontrolled, so or crocs cannot be played, and at the same time he can just obliterate the orcish fleet so that they don't have anywhere to retreat to. And this is something that he can secure for himself because he can build additional ships in his home system, go to the middle right system, and from there go to the top right system, win the aerial battle, and from there that point on it will be more or less impossible for the orcs to move to any other planet. So we could end the game there, because even if the Tyranids would not do anything, uh, that would mean at most 6 planets for the orcs. On the other hand, the Tyranids home system only have 2 planets, so they are here on a disadvantage. But should they wish to take one of the orcish worlds for their own, they will have it most definitely. We see, however, an attempt uh, on the orcish system in the top left. We do know for a fact that he placed a build there, so an attack will follow. Yes, sir. So now the question is what the orcs will do. Will they try to fight back in their home system? Most probably they will, but this is just, as I said, just prolonging the inevitable. He will try most probably to just take the objective for himself, but I doubt it will put him in any fighting position to really have any chance winning this game. So we are waiting for the last order from the Tyranids to be placed. Wait a second. Did I miss something? Ah, yes, sorry. So the orders were already placed. The first one was already revealed by the Tyranids. Sorry for that. I got carried away. Okay, so we do see an attempt on the hive ship of the Tyranids. Taking into account that there is a chance that he will not even route this hive ship and all at the same time lose the combat, he shouldn't move the one of the boys from that world because it secures the option for the Tyranids to build units there on this unconquested area. So we most probably will see synaptic control being played. The double rain of spores, which is pretty unfortunate for the Tyranids here. To win this combat, they will need to go for Termagant Brute, which because this is the only option they have, which could be a little bit risky. We see Shuta Boys for starters. All right. We see a morale being added, so not neither defensive nor offensive option for them, and that means that the hive ship is already routed. So already one objective secured for the orcs. Let's see if the Tyranids will manage to win this combat. Okay, so what will be the next card for Tyranids? Will it be Wa? It will conveniently rally one of the routed units, but it is not. Maybe it will be the third card. Let's see. So definitely a paper shield for the Tyranids, but will he go for the offense also? Yes, we see he does, because he knows that he will kill 2 units this execution round. It also means that one of the reinforcements for Tyranids will be killed. But right now the Tyranids know that for the orcs the maximum amount of additional bolters that they can provide is exactly 1, because both Wa and each and every other cards they have in their arsenal only gives 1 additional bolter, so this will be not enough to kill the hive ship. And on the other hand, it is pretty easy for the Tyranids to inflict some additional damage to kill the remaining ship for the orcs. Of course, we know for a fact here that this will not happen because we know that what the Tyranids played, and they don't have an unrouted ship to kill to do that, but the orcs don't know that. So I would expect it will be a sea of green for the orcs, just to survive with the 1 remaining ship. Let's see what it be. It will be Art Boys. Okay. Okay. So on both sides, 1 unit survives, but the Tyranids win this combat by means of morale. We also see that the orcs will not take the objective for themselves because they will need to reveal an order, the attack order, without a legal path being present. He was counting on winning this aerial combat and using the ships he built to attack directly on that world, but this was made futile, unfortunately, for the orcs. See a dominate from the orc side. And one unit bot. At least we see that the hive ship was destroyed, so no units will be built on the material asset world in the home system works. And we are going to round 7. Okay, so if you don't mind, I do think I know where this game is coming to. I am, however, curious if the orcs will be at least able to take the one objective or not. But this round it will probably be difficult because the Tyranids can easily counter that attempt either by putting ships on that home system or by the means of fighting back on the objective world. We already see the first order being placed by the orcs, and this is not an attack on their objective. We see Dominus is thinking about buying the CL3 cards because he's viewing them at the moment. So most probably we will see a third city being built for the Tyranids. Let's fast forward a little bit. Oh, I fast forwarded a little bit too much. So that was what? Dominate, okay. No, strategize on the Orcish home system, okay. Being topped right after by the orcs, which with we don't know what. Deploy in the middle left, topped by the most probably advanced order from the orcs. Another order being placed by the Tyranids in the home system of orcs and directly and immediately topped by the Tyrannid order. Okay, so we do see that it most probably will not be possible for the orcs to take their objective because there will be 2 ships in these 2 voids, so a direct attack will not be possible simply. So it will be very difficult for the Tyranids to get the second objective, but at the same time, it will be very easy for them to deny the first objective by the orcs, and also to deny them even taking any more planets that they have right now. And they have 4 planets at the moment against 7 planets for Tyranids. We see some reinforcement units being placed for the Tyranids. Will there be another ship that will go there? Not now, not at the moment. Interestingly so, Dominus thinks that he can hold the Forge token planet by units alone. I think he will be crushed by a Sea of Green followed by double WA cards, but that's just my opinion. Let's see if that really will be the case. I think at that point we can even change to 2.0 speed. Yes, so we do see an attack attempt by the orcs. With how many units, though? That's the question. He's thinking about some split fire action because he doesn't want to leave the objective unattended, should I say. But he will put a 4th orc boy there, which should be enough boys to inflict some significant damage by means of WA. Still making the choice. Okay, so he made the decision: 4 boys against 3 warriors and 1 gaunt. No shields being rolled by the Tyranids, unfortunately. But the Tyranids right now are well prepared for any situation with both Crushing Claws and the Synaptic Control cards at their disposal. However, as I said, this is 6 boys in total right now, so neither Synaptic Control will work, and at the same time, WA will inflict some serious damage right here. But I guess Dominus knows for a fact that he will have a hard time defending this world. However, it forced the orcs to move in a place that they are not really interested in, because this is not the objective planet that they want. This is a satellite world, and this is, I think, exactly what Dominus wanted, just so that the orcs focus their forces on some insignificant world. Okay, so we do see 5 damage being taken by the Tyranids. Pretty rough, pretty rough. But at the same time, it means that 3 or 4 of the orcs already left the objective world. Yeah, so not even the precursor Sea of Green was needed, just a double WA sealed the deal, and the bugs are more than dead, and this combat is over in a matter of seconds. But this is just something that we already saw in the 2nd round, so we are in the 7th round, back at square one for the orcs. Even worse, because the Tyranids in the meantime gained objective, they gained development, and they gained planetary advantage. We see Carnifex being built, which adds a little resilience to that outpost. But it's not about the resilience. It's not that the resilience that the Tyrannids are going for. They are going for the throat. The question just is if he's taking the risk of what happened here. Okay, I don't know, but definitely the bastion is not taken directly. You need to fight for it. But the orcs cannot place any reinforcements to this combat, so even if they play Sea of Green right now, which would give them one reinforcement, the Tyrannids will do the same as well. I would say Synaptic Control here is more secure. And that's exactly what he is playing. I guess he's thinking of just taking this world by means of morale, so that the bastion stays. It will come very handy. Let's see what the orcs will follow up with. They are following up with Wa. Unfortunately, it is much too little morale gain for them, as a single reinforcement token for the Tyrannids provide the same amount of morale. So it's ridiculous how tough it is win to a morale race with Tyrannids. Should I even say impossible? Okay, and that's it for this combat. So a single warrior conquered the bastion of the orcs. Let's see if there will be a counterattack from their side. Most probably. But using a mob up. Okay. Okay. Rightfully so. Why with 4 units? I wonder. So all of the gain of the planetary advantage that the orcs wanted to have is right now lost because he abandoned the outpost, and he definitely didn't need that much firepower for that. So interesting choice. And also the orc boy is just simply dead after that. So we don't see a third city, but is the scheme available for the Tyrannids? Because yeah, the scheme has somehow got lost, I think. Yeah, okay, here it is. Okay, so it was available for them, it just got lost in the deck. So that's why the Tyrannids were able to buy a CL3 card. Or not. Okay, no, so it wasn't available for them. Okay, so they are buying a CL2 card. Okay, okay. Clear, clear, clear. Okay, and an obsolete counterattack for the orcs. What will happen in the last round? Let's see. We have Tear It Down for orcs, which is a card that destroys a structure. So I think just to save his honor, DamGod will try. Okay, he will not try. I was just about to say that he will try together with the tear it down card, take the objective and at least have that. If not win the game, at least gain one objective. But now it will be close to impossible to do. Well, it is impossible to do right now. He cannot physically get to that objective with that warp storm being there. So I'm wondering if they will even play the last round. Yes, they are. They are placing the orders. So what interests me is not the details here. I just want to see what will be the end result here. Whether the orcs will at least take one planet from the Tyranids. So the Tyranids know for a fact that they will not take the second objective, but that's not something that they need. They just need to survive this round, and the game will be over because this is the 8th round. The Tyranids already have one objective, so they don't need anything else. So what will we see here? We see a deploy from the Tyranids. We see some heavy infantry action. Dominate from orcs. An attack by the Tyranids on the orcs with the hive ship. Okay, synaptic control, sea of green. Been there, done that. Damage inflicted on the orc side. Art boys to finish it up. Okay, and the combat is already lost. I guess the ship survived, but it had to retreat. Okay, and this is the only area he could retreat to. Yes, this is deploy first. Okay, so a bastion being placed. Dominate for the Tyranids. Boys moving in and boys moving out. Ah, so he did not even review this order. Okay, so that's game as we see, because the orcs cannot even attack and the Tyranids can fight back, even if that would be possible for the orcs. Well played, Dominus. Full dominance, no pun intended, from the very beginning of the game. He took the objective fair and square at the very beginning. He secured the front line and conquered planet by planet each round, forcing the orcs to play the back and forward game, which for the Tyranids was very advantageous. The orcs were focusing on survival and on futile attempts of gaining some leverage, which in the end they did not gain at all, and it just gave the Tyranids enough time to develop and secure the other worlds. So I guess it was visible for Dominus from the beginning that it will be tough to get the final objective, but it will be easy for him to secure the neighboring planets. Well played, Dominus. Good luck in the next rounds. Also well played, DamGod. Showed what he could. It's very definitely tricky from that point. So it shows that the fact that the Tyranids went for the long game proved advantages for them, because he forced the orcs not to be able to develop, and an undeveloped army against a developed army, we already know what the outcome will be. Again, good game, well played Dominus, and wish you luck in the next rounds. See you next time, guys. It was Simon commentating for you, and see you in the next game.